I want to move on to the state revolt, and I think that's the right word to use, the United States, individual states, all of them that you see on your screens, all of those states, now it's more than half of all the states, are saying no to Syrian refugees coming to the United States. Meanwhile, a New York Times op-ed says this, and I'm quoting now, this is about the refusal of states to take in the Syrians. Confusing refugees with terrorists is morally unacceptable as a matter of strategy, misguided. Florida's governor, Rick Scott, is with us. He's one of the governors, the state, which says no to Syrian refugees coming here. You're being attacked, Governor. They're saying you're inhumane and you are morally wrong to do what you're doing. Your answer to the left, please.
Well, first, Stuart, your heart goes out. 129 people murdered in Paris. Over 300 people injured in Paris. I have my daughters-in-laws live in Paris. They were scared to death when they couldn't, they didn't know where the in-laws were, and they've got a lot of relatives over there. This president's got to take ISIS seriously. We know that one of these terrorists used the potential refugee status to get into France. Stop. Slow down. Think about this. Get the facts before you continue to proceed. Don't go forward with adding 10,000 more Syrian refugees in our country. They want to put 425 in Florida. I sent a letter to Speaker Ryan and Majority Leader McConnell and said, you have the ability, the state doesn't, you have the ability to stop funding this. Stop funding this. Slow down. Let's take our time. Well, Florida is a state of immigration.
But there will be.
We love immigrants in our state, but we don't want terrorism.
I understand, Governor, but the other side, there is another side of the coin on this, and I want to try and articulate it. And that is that many of these refugees are genuine refugees from terror. They are running for their lives, and many are women and children. Would it not be possible to say, you can come in, or you Christians, you can come in? But those that we're doubtful about, young Muslim men of military age, you stay out. Couldn't you discriminate on who you bring in and who you stop coming in?
You absolutely could, but let's look at what our president does. He goes right away without taking any time to understand exactly what happened in Paris and says we're going to allow 10,000 more Syrian refugees in our country. They don't tell us who's going to come into our state. They give us no information. They don't work with us at all. In our state. I'm responsible for the 20 million people who live in our state. We love immigration. We'll have over 100 million tourists this year. We love people coming to our state. But we do not want terrorism. Slow down, take your time, make an informed decision, and inform us.
Okay. What about liability? I hate to bring legalisms into this, but if some of these Syrian refugees are resettled in America, and heaven forbid, but one or more of them indulges in a heinous act and kills Americans, who is responsible for that? Who is accountable for that?
Well, ultimately, what happens in our state, if somebody violates the law, we'll prosecute them. But often, whoever's been harmed, there's no repercussion for them. There's nobody that steps up and says, I'm going to take care of you. The federal government doesn't offer us money to do this. And again, they're not a great partner for Florida. They don't tell us what they're doing. This is something that they're making the decision, whether we like it or not, to send 425 refugees to our state without giving us any information. Do you have any idea? Is your action saying no to these refugees? Is that motivated primarily by public opinion? In other words, is there a groundswell of opinion within Florida that you picked up on that says, no, we don't want them? Well, there's clearly public opinion, Stuart, but the truth is I'm responsible for the safety of over 100 million tourists and, more importantly, the 20 million plus people that live in our state. We don't want terrorism in our state. We don't want what happened in Paris to happen in Florida. So my responsibility to say, what can I do to make sure that doesn't happen? Okay. I can call on the president to do his job as commander-in-chief and destroy ISIS. I can ask Congress, which is what I've done, to say, don't fund $1 of federal money to relocate one Syrian refugee to our state until we slow down and get the facts and we understand what's going on. It's the most common sense thing to do is slow down. We know that one of the terrorists in France posed as a Syrian refugee.
Okay.
Why would we take that same risk right now?
Okay. Governor Rick Scott, Republican, Florida. Thank you very much for joining us, sir. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Stuart.
Yes, sir.